Hello, my name is Vanessa. Welcome to our virtual yoga class. We'll begin our class in a seated position. So go ahead and make any adjustments here to your seat. Noticing that as you're grounding here, shifting your position, you're starting to train that mental attention to shift towards the body. Notice your core activated, supporting the length in your spine. Notice any tendencies to round our shoulders or lean forward. You're going to open up your chest, slide your shoulders down, chin is neutral. And then for a few breaths, eyes closed, we're going to inhale here. And then lengthen our exhale. Lengthen our inhale a little longer than you're accustomed to. And use this exercise as a practice to shift that attention to the breath. Noticing that throughout the class, we'll continuously revisit the breath as we are working on our flexibility, strength, and balance. Notice the quality of our breath is connected to our physical health, mental health, and emotional health. We're building that bridge with our breath. I recommend inhaling, exhaling, sighing out at any moment right now and throughout class. As you exhale, sigh out, you'll notice that immediate release of the physical, mental, emotional tension. We start to release our to-do lists. We start to create some more space between us and other thoughts. It's okay to have other thoughts while you're practicing yoga, but notice that you are cultivating the ability to be continuously aware over a long period of time of your physical, mental, emotional body expressed through the poses. As we practice welcoming our breath, we practice welcoming our experience. And this is a practice of compassion, self-care. Notice the quality of your breath. No judgment of the breath. I encourage lengthening your inhale and exhale a little longer than you're accustomed to. Or exhale, sighing out. Check in again with your core, open chest, shoulders slid down. And then if you prefer to keep your eyes open, I recommend keeping your eyes focused on one point across the floor or room, keeping your gaze steady. As a practice here, a steady gaze, a steady mind. A few more intentional breaths here. Notice your sit bones grounded on the mat. Long spine, neutral chin, either eyes closed or gaze steady. Welcoming your breath, cultivating that stillness and that spaciousness. At any time throughout your day, throughout your week, you can always return to a deep and powerful breath, as well as access that inner stillness and spaciousness. Notice it now, and notice it will be cultivating that throughout the class. Generous inhale, exhale, sigh out. Start to shift your chin towards your right shoulder. Looking over your shoulder here, placing attention to the sides of the neck. What's open, what's sore, what's tense. And then opposite shoulder. Hold. Back to center. Lift your chin towards the ceiling, opening the throat. Release your chin towards your chest. Noticing the back of the neck, upper back. Release, come back to center. Keeping your hands soft on your knees, lift your shoulders up toward your ears, draw them down. When you're drawing them down, you're very purposely bringing your shoulder blades together. Notice there's a difference of just passively shifting your shoulders up and releasing. Here you want to be purposeful. Lifting up, scooping up, shoulder blades shifting closer together as you draw down, elbows and palms loose. A few times rolling back, and then a few times rolling forward. And then after those few times, release your hands. We're going to lift our arms up, palms up towards the ceiling. Lengthen your elbows here. Deep belly breath. Notice your belly expand. Inhale. Exhale. Now release your hands behind your head. Notice elbows collapse forward. Shift elbows towards the back. Now leading through your chest, your heart twist towards the right and left, either moving quickly between sides or remaining a few breaths on one side if there's something particular here to explore. You're opening throughout the base of the spine to the top, side bodies as well. You're anchoring through your sit bones. Those are the bone here, glutes. It's hard to take generous breaths and twists. You're just finding a comfortable breath. And after a few times here, release. Now cup your forearms with your hands or elbows, 3 breaths. Gaze steady or eyes closed. Notice your belly expand. Notice a release in the belly. Release. Now interlace your fingers, either palms touching or not. Extend your elbows, slide your shoulders back, shoulder blades shift closer together. Look straight ahead, chin is neutral. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then release. We'll focus now a little bit on our lower body, bringing both soles of the feet together, leading through your chest, your heart, fold. See where can you fold a little further, not to a point that's painful. 2 more breaths. And then release. Start to shift here. You're going to bring your legs out into the shape of a V. Inviting a small little bend to your knees. That's natural here. So we're going to fold individually over each leg with the goal of folding down the middle. So keep that in mind if your goal is to fold down the middle. Therefore, you can focus here. Opening up that flexibility around the hamstrings, behind the knees, around the thighs. Inhale here, exhale. So we're shifting over our right foot, dropping our belly towards that right thigh. Hands can reach to your thighs, shins, or toes. You can also reach that left arm overhead. If you want to invite also a stretch in the side body. So either arm lifted or fold both hands on thighs, shins, or toes. A little bend to your knee. Inhale. And then exhale, release. Or just shift that chest, that heart towards your left leg. And then either folding over, dropping your belly and chest, or lifting your arm up overhead, inviting an upper body stretch as well. Side body stretch. Inhale. Exhale, release. Try to take both hands forward. Just slowly inch your hands forward. You can invite a little bend to your knee. Hold to a point that you feel comfortable with. Generous breath, inhale. And exhale, release. We'll shift into a tabletop, making sure our hands are beneath our shoulders. Let's take a cat and cow pose. Inhaling into your cow pose, lifting your tailbone, opening your chest here. And then tuck that tailbone in as you move into a cat pose, chin towards chest. Hold. And then release. Now lift your right leg, bend your knees, stack your hips, hold. The more you bend that knee, the more you activate the stretch around the quad. Now round your spine, knee and chin towards chest. Press through your palms, hover, and release. Opposite side, lift your left leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Round your spine, knee and chin towards chest. Release, lift up, downward facing dog, pull that down dog. Remain a couple of breaths here, pressing through our palms. Inhale, exhale. Breathing to your hamstrings, lifting your heels. Noticing that upper body strength. Inhale here, exhale, side out. Remain here in your down dog. Imagine a full body breath. We're going to use your imagination here. Imagining breathing in through the pores of our skin and exhaling through the pores of our skin. Full body breath. At any point, inhaling here, exhaling, sigh out. Take your gaze right between your hands. Walk or jump up to that forward fold. Soften that head. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. We're going to roll up slowly to standing. So you're slowly stacking, lifting your spine, arms are relaxed. You're placing weight on your heels. There is no hurry. This is a good practice of slowing down. As we slow down physically, we can also practice slowing down those mental thoughts. Mountain pose, hands framing your hips. If I try to move you, it'd be difficult to do so. So you're active here. This takes a different level of awareness and presence. If I try to move you, it'd be difficult to do so because not only are you grounded with your heels, your core is active, your arms radiate out, palms and fingertips open and spread out. Noticing that inner spaciousness and stillness that we've been cultivating since the beginning of class. Re-engage with that presence, that awareness. Notice that we're continuously arriving to this present moment. That's part of the practice of this holistic class. Let's inhale here, exhale, sigh out. Inhale, arms lift, extended mountain pose, palms face each other, chest is open. Release your hands, interlace your fingers, draw your shoulder blades closer together. Take your gaze up towards the ceiling, take a breath. Bend your knees, fold down, softening neck and head as you release. Hands to shins, inhale halfway up. Exhale, release. 2 more times. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. 3rd time. And after that 3rd time, we're sweeping our arms up overhead, grounding your feet or heels, and then your choice. Hands can meet in front of your heart center, your chest, or hands can frame your hips, either expression of your mountain pose. We're inhaling and exhaling for the day we've had. Inhaling and exhaling for this moment. And inhaling and exhaling for the rest of our day. Release your hand. We'll shift into a warrior T to warrior 2, taking our left foot forward and right leg steps back. Right foot is in a diagonal. Check your left knee to the 90-degree angle. So a good rule of thumb here is you want to be able to see that left big toe. That might help guide you in stacking your knee so it's above your heel in line with your ankle. Now your hips will naturally open up here. So you want to imagine gripping that floor with that left foot, extending out through that right leg, shifting that hip back, right hip. Gonna sink into your hips here. Now arms stack here, they're parallel to the floor. Find a point over that left hand. Keep your gaze steady. As I've said, as I've mentioned before, a steady gaze, a steady mind. This is a good pose to practice strength, to notice groundedness, to activate that full body strength and awareness. We're going to inhale, imagining breathing through the pores of our skin. And exhaling through the pores of our skin, full body breath. Steady gaze, strong pose. Imagine a line of energy from one fingertip to the other. Fire up that left glute, left quad, open up your hips, engage your glutes. Distribute weight on your heels. Inhale. Exhale, release your hand right behind your thigh, lift your left arm up, breathing into your lower back side body. Reaching with that left arm up towards the ceiling. And then back to center. Inhale. Exhale. Release your elbow right onto your thigh. Lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. Take your gaze up towards the ceiling here. One breath or two, either keeping your forearm, elbow resting on your thigh, or you can lengthen that left knee, drop your hand towards the floor or thigh. Keep that right arm lifted up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, release. Take your hands forward and now lift your right leg. Make sure your hands are beneath your shoulders. Drop your belly towards your thigh. Lift your right leg as high as you can, standing splits. Soften neck and head. Right foot meets that left foot. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. 2 more times. Inhale, halfway up. You're breathing to your hamstrings, your glutes. And after 3 rounds, your choice how you come up to standing. You can roll up slowly or sweep your arms up overhead. Either way works. Hands in front of your heart center or hands framing your hips. Eyes opened or closed. Take 3 grounded breaths. At any time, inhaling, exhaling, sighing out. Notice that inner stillness and spaciousness that's accessible to you at any time. It's just about shifting your attention there. Release your hands, warrior 2, opposite side. This time you take our right foot forward, left leg steps back. Left foot in a diagonal, hips naturally open up, knee stacks over ankles. 90-degree bend here with your right knee, arms to that T. Take your gaze over your right hand, find a point to focus on, keep your gaze steady. Fire up glutes and quads. Imagine a full body breath, breathing into the pores of your skin, exhaling through the pores of your skin. Release your left hand behind your thigh, lift your right arm up, side body stretch. You're also opening throughout the lower back. Back to center, take a breath, inhale. Exhale, you can release that forearm or elbow onto your thigh. Lift your left arm up. Take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Sink into that right hip, right glute. You can extend that right knee, drop your hand towards the floor. You can grip your ankle. Lifting up through that left arm. Deep belly breath. Release your hands. Now take your hands forward. Make sure your shoulders stack right above your hands. Lift your left leg as high as you can. Drop your belly towards the thigh. Soften neck and head. Try not to lock that left knee, but do extend your leg. Left foot meets that right foot. Inhale, halfway up. 3 times. Exhale, release. Second time. Exhale, release. Third time. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Your choice how you come up to standing. Make it your practice. See what it is that supports you in finding that inner balance. Eyes opened or closed. Welcoming your breath, welcoming your experience, continuously practicing arriving to this moment. Inhale, exhale, side up. Release your hands. We're going to shift into a wide-legged forward fold. So you want to lengthen your stance here. Toes point forward or just slightly inward. You're going to pivot through the hips. So first, let's take our hands to our hips and then fold halfway so our chest is parallel to the floor. Let's take an opportunity here to notice how you're lifting the tailbone. You want to release any compression in the lower back. You're breathing through your calves and hamstrings, the backs of your legs here. Grounding through your feet and making sure you're softening neck and head. Release, letting the spine extend naturally and soften. Hands can reach the mat. Your fingers can grip your big toe. You can cup your elbows with your hands. So find that where your hands, find that position for your hands. Then breathe into the back of the legs, softening your torso. Please invite a tiny bend to your knee. Try not to lock your knees. Feel free to hear your inhale and hear your exhale. Few more breaths. And then we'll start to take our hands up towards our hips, lift halfway. And then all the way up. Shift your right toes to the right, left toes to the left. Bend your knees. Hands in front of your heart center, arms lifted. Glutes, quads active. Drop your tailbone. Keep your gaze steady. Another grounding pose. Five, 4, release. We'll seal the standing portion of the class with one sun salutation. Let's lift our arms up overhead. Standing throughout the spine here. Exhaling, pull down. Softening neck, head. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, step back, plank pose. Release down towards the floor. Inhale up. Upward facing dog. Exhale. Shift into your downward facing dog. We'll lift our left leg, bend our left knee, stack our hips. Now left knee towards your left elbow, hover. Lift your leg, bend your knee, stack your hips. Now left knee towards that right elbow, hover. Lift your leg, bend your knee, stack your hips. Release your foot down towards the floor. Generous breath when you're ready to lift your right leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Right knee towards that right elbow. Lift your leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Remember your generous breaths here. And now knee shifts towards your left elbow, hover. Lift your leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Inhale, exhale, 3 breaths. Feel free to inhale, exhale, side out. Notice that strength, that endurance. Inhale, exhale. After 3 breaths, start to release, shifting into a child's pose. Knees onto the floor, either knees close together or towards the edges of the mat. Forehead on the mat. If you have trouble concentrating, just lengthen your inhale and exhale a little longer than you're accustomed to. Three more breaths. Inhaling, exhaling, receiving anything that supports you, exhaling, releasing anything that doesn't. And start to release your child's pose, grounding palms onto the mat. Lift into a tabletop, hands beneath your shoulders. One cow and cat pose. And after your cat and cow pose, press your palm onto the mat. Lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. And then release your shoulder right onto the mat. Lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. Or you can rest your hand on your lower back or hip. And release. Take one cow and cat pose, making sure you're releasing any compression there in the lower back. Exhale, round your spine. And then release. Press that left palm onto the mat. Lift your right arm up. opposite side. Lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. And then release your shoulder onto the mat. Lifting your right arm up towards the ceiling or resting your hand on your lower back. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Take your last cow and cat pose. And then release. You're going to shift here. You're going to prepare for a boat pose. So for extra support, you can take your hands behind your thighs. Otherwise, lift your palms up, lift your legs. You're lengthening your legs as much as you can. Imagining a cord lifting you through your chest, your heart center. This is a pose of balance and strength. Inhale, exhale. And extend your legs, slowly release, hover, core strength, glute strength, quad strength. And release. Drop your head back. Invite a generous inhale. Exhale. Side up. Full body stretch. Lift your arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers. Point your toes here. Lift your abdomen up towards the ceiling. You can rotate your ankles here. A few breaths here. And then release. Bend your knee, float that foot off the floor, grab your knee with your hands, one round, forehead up towards your knee, hold, chin towards chest, hold. Flex your left foot towards the front. Hold, and release. Opposite side, bend your left knee, grab your knee, and pull. Flex your right foot towards the front. Release. Lengthen that left leg up towards the ceiling. Interlace your fingers behind your thigh. Focus on your calf muscle by pointing your toes downwards towards you. And then after a few moments there, drop your leg towards the right and towards the left, either keeping a sway. If you prefer to focus on one point, go ahead. You can focus on your lower back, hips, glutes, hamstrings. See where you should place your attention. And breathe into that flexibility. Hold. And release. Slowly release your foot back down towards the floor. And now opposite side, bend your right knee, extend your leg up towards the ceiling. Point your toes downwards towards you, lengthen your leg. Now After a few moments there, drop your leg towards the left and towards the right, either keeping a sway or holding one position. Don't forget your breath, belly expands, nice soft breath there. Inhale. Exhale, back to center, back to center. Release your leg back down towards the floor. We're gonna take those soles of the feet to touch, shifting into our butterfly pose. Let's try out 3 positions with your hands so you can see which most supports you to hold for the rest of the pose. So invite 1 breath with palms on the floor, framing your hips, palms up towards the ceiling. 1 breath or 2. And then try taking your hands, resting on your belly, around your chest, around your heart center. Make sure you're softening throughout the hips, lower spine, and upper as well. And then take your arms up overhead, backs of the hands on the floor, elbows are bent, as if your head is in the center of this diamond. There's more of an arch to your spine here. And then of these 3 positions with your arms and hands, see which most supports you. We're going to be here for a few breaths. You have access to deep belly inhales, exhales. Expand your inhale and exhale as much as you can. Refamiliarize yourself with your full breath. What is the experience of your full breath? As we're busy throughout the day, we tend to not be conscious of the breath and become accustomed to very shallow breathing. So right now it's your opportunity to gather and inhale and exhale. Familiarize yourself with this deep, full breath. This is a breath you can go back to at any time throughout your week. At the same time, it is difficult to maintain deep, long breaths over a long period of time. Therefore, just a few, and then you can start shifting into more of a regular breath. Do scan your body and notice where can you soften your body just 10% further. This is a pose of softening, letting go, opening a lot throughout the spine and hips. The restorative pose. Surprisingly, when we're laying down, we're still holding onto some tension. So practice here, physically releasing tension. And then as a holistic yoga practice, see that relationship of releasing physically, but also mentally and emotionally. Notice that relationship there expressed in the physical body. And then we'll start to prepare for our final resting pose of the class. So lengthen your legs, palms, bring your hips facing the ceiling. Notice that this is a pose that teaches us the wisdom of being still, of doing nothing. In this pose, there are no expectations. It's an opportunity to integrate your practice. Letting go, receiving, integrating. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. Practice compassion, no judgment of sounds around you or thoughts. As we practice yoga more frequently, we'll notice our shavasanas have different textures. Sometimes there's something easy about it, sometimes there's something challenging, sometimes some wisdom or illumination filters through. Just expect nothing. Invite appreciation of your practice, that stillness and spaciousness that still permeates now. That stillness you've been cultivating throughout the class. The stillness that is available for you at any time during your week. Do soften your forehead, jaw, neck, shoulders, down the length of your arms, your wrists, palms, fingertips. Noticing your tendency to clench and use your hands so much. Notice your hands soft, relax. Imagine them float just a little bit more. Soften the upper back, mid back, lower back. Down to your hips, behind your knees, to your ankles and toes. You can practice deep, long breaths, or you can go back to your breath's regular rhythm. No control of the breath. Both options have their benefits. Start to shift your attention back to your breath, inviting a generous inhale and exhale. Restoring some movement to your fingertips and your toes. You can invite a full body stretch, or turn your body to the left or to the right. Notice that stillness and spaciousness cultivated. Invite a generous and a leisurely breath. There is no rush, no hurry. Invite another breath or two. And start to make your way up to your seat, whatever position is comfortable for you. And as you're transitioning, still be engaged with your breath. Make those adjustments in your body that demonstrate that awareness you've been cultivating. And then we'll take a moment to reflect here that as we welcome our breath, we welcome our experience. This is a practice of compassion, acknowledging the spectrum of our experience. And here in our holistic yoga practice, we use our breath to notice that, and also to take care of our physical well-being, mental and emotional, noticing the interrelationship here. In gratitude, we conclude class, taking our hands in front of our heart center. Let's inhale here and exhale. And in the tradition of yoga, the highest in me sees the highest in you. May we walk with each other in gratitude.